I always had dreams, many dreams, even though being with a degree, that dreams was frustrated. I am Patricia Lima, I am an architect, and before I became a tither, I always loved to study. I did many courses, but when I would go into the market, nothing would work out. And even being with a degree, those dreams was frustrated. I started to accepting any job that would come. With that, I left my area. I worked in the welcoming area as a receptionist with human resources, and I had a very frustrated life. I was accepting that's what I had. People used to say outside, the labor market, it's very hard. So I accepted those things. I knew the Word of God, the Bible. I knew the Word, but I was not a tither. To me, tithe was to give when you can, when you want. If you could, I couldn't. I barely had a job. So God would understand. That's how I used to think. So I was receiving a very little salary, and I couldn't have good works. The first thing that I used to do when I got my salary was to go to the newsstand to buy magazines of science. I liked astrology, necromancy, all that kind of things. I liked it. So I received my salary. I was going there and buy the magazine of the month. I read to see what was going to happen with me that day. What is going to happen, the stars was going to say to me. And with a defeated life. When I got to the Universal Church, I thought it was strange the way they spoke, that we had to have a pact with God, we had to be faithful to God, and I never heard such a thing. And at first I was there only hitting the seat, and I saw people giving testimonies, and my life was still no change. And one day I understood, and I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to obey. Let's see. Then the man of God is telling me to do so. I will obey. And I started to put in practice. When I started to do so, God started to put my life in order, starting with my profession. Was born my dream to become an architect. And that dream inside of me was asleep. After I started to be a tither, that was so strong inside of me, God saying, that's the direction, go. Somebody that I knew said, you were too clever to be as a receptionist. Somebody that I worked with for years, so tell me, what did you do with your life? And he said, no, you have a profession, you have to do something. I started to work on the area, I started to stand out, I had ideas of project. I would go to sleep and wake up with all the project. I worked for 1 year to somebody, but God was so great that I was there, only taking care of all. And he said, if you can work to somebody, you can work for yourself. When I did the pact with God, I had nothing. I had a minimum wage with a lot of discount, and I could barely support myself, but I said, no, I'm going to be faithful. I gave back. I understood that I had to have a pact with God, putting Him first, being faithful. He would give me all that I needed, that I didn't have to have the money. Money was not my all, was not my base. I needed God, so I gave up on all, and I'm going to make a pact with this God because He's going to give me everything. He's going to guide me. So it started to be double, and there was coming clients from out of nowhere. And I didn't expect it, and my office ready and all put together, and people asking me to help me. And since then was never lack of client. I put my office inside the garage, and I said, if it's you, God, giving me direction, so in 1 month, I want my office ready with clients. And I have like 10 clients a month. When I'm delivering a project, comes in many. When I deliver it, comes other. So I'm working for myself since 2014, 2015. And since then, I was never a client. And I'm closing more and more partnerships. And with the pandemic, my work was double. Because the people stays at home and they start to look for things that I stock. And one of them, it's renovation, it's building land. They come after me. My work was more than triple. I didn't stop one day. I'm working on a holiday, on weekends. The pandemic, nothing has stopped me because I have a pact with God, a vow. And I did a challenge with God, even bigger. I did a challenge to do a tithe in double. And since then, I give in double. And my friends, my clients, they always take a friend, a father. So it's always true. God, with everything He has supplied me. Nothing that I gave to God stayed on the altar. Everything He gave me on double and triple, more than I thought.